Now we're going to look at some examples that have to do with bisectors. So if you look at number 12, it says ray QX bisects angle RQT. Find the measure of angle RQX. So we have a bisector which is drawn for us, so we don't have to worry about that. And we want to find the measure of angle RQX. So let's mark that so we know which one we want to find. So that's that angle there. Now, if we have a bisector, what do we know about these angles? Well, remember your definition. An angle bisector is typically a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. So our angles here are going to be congruent. So I'm going to put my little congruent marks in it, my little arcs. And then I know that angle RQX is 7x minus 2. Angle XQT is 6x plus 5. Our parts are congruent. That means their measures are equal. So this is going to be a part equals part problem because you have congruent parts. So set them equal. So we're going to do 7x minus 2 equals 6x plus 5. Subtract your 6x over to just get x minus 2 equals 5. Add your 2 over to get 7. And then it says to find the measure of that angle. So we're going to plug that back in here. The measure of angle RQX equals 7 times 7 minus 2, which is 49 minus 2, which is 47. Okay. Next one. And each one of these is a little bit different, so I just want to make sure we see a few different scenarios. This says ray YT bisects angle XYZ. If the measure of angle XYZ equals 22A minus 11, find the measure of angle XYT. So it's giving us information that's not labeled, so let's label that. This entire angle here is 22A minus 11. And it wants us to find XYT. That's this one. And we're told we have a bisector, which means our two angles are congruent. So make sure you mark that. Now, with this one, what a lot of people try to do is they go, oh, congruent. So I'm going to set these two things equal. You can't do that because this is just part of your angle. This is the whole angle. A part does not equal the whole thing. So then I know in the past people have suggested, oh, well, then if this is 12a minus 8, right, then maybe this is just the same thing. And that's absolutely correct. If this is 12a minus 8 and these are congruent, then I can also call this portion 12a minus 8. Okay, so I'm just going to write an equation now that I have both labels for both angles. And this, yes, my parts are congruent, but I can't set 12a minus 8 equal to 12a minus 8. It'll all cancel. So I cannot do part equals part here, but I do know what the whole thing is. So I can do part plus part equals. So my one part is 12a minus 8. My other part is also 12a minus 8. And the whole thing is 22a minus 11. Combine your like terms. That's 24a minus 16 equals 22a minus 11. Subtract your 22a over. That's 2a equals. Add your 16 over. That's 5. And that's when you probably panic because you're like, oh, it's not a whole number. It's okay. Occasionally a decimal will happen. Normally, if I give you a decimal in this class, it's a nice decimal like 0.5 or 0.4, something nice and even. So if you divide that, that's just 2.5. And then we do need to plug it back into the appropriate angle. So for the measure of angle XYT, that's going to be 12 times 2.5 minus 8. 12 times 2.5 is 30. And then 30 minus 8 is 22 degrees. Number 14. Number 14, ray QS bisects angle PQT. And it says the measure of angle PQT is 60, and the measure of angle PQS is 4x plus 14. Find the value of x. So let's make sure we go through do all of our labeling. We have a bisector. So I'm going to mark my two angles as congruent. And then let's go fill in this information. Angle PQT, that's the whole thing here, is 60 degrees. And then angle PQS is 4x plus 14. And now we need to find the value of x. There are a few different ways to do this. You could apply the same strategy we did up here. If this angle is 4x plus 14 and they're congruent, the other is also 4x plus 14. And you could do part plus part equals the whole, which is 60. Another strategy that might be a little bit easier, just a little less of a complicated equation. If I know the whole angle is 60 and I know my parts here are congruent, well, split 60 in half. That means each angle has to be 30 degrees because they are congruent. So instead of doing part plus part equals whole, I know that each part has to be 30 degrees. So I can just set 4x plus 14 equal to 30. Subtract your 14 over and you get 16 and divide to get 4. And this one, it doesn't tell you to plug anything back in, so you're done once you get x. All right, guys, last one. Ray BF bisects angle CBE and ray BD bisects angle ABE. So we have some bisectors, so let's mark those as congruent. So ray BF bisects angle CBE, and then ray BD bisects angle ABE, and you'll notice I'm putting 2 tick marks and then 1 tick or arcs to just show that those are congruent to each other. And then we're given some angles here. The measure of angle EBF is 6x plus 4, and the measure of angle CBF is 7x minus 2. Find the measure of angle EBC. So let's label that. This one is 6x plus 4. This one is 7x minus 2. And we want to find the entire angle here, EBC. So we have to decide, is this a part equals part or a part plus part equals whole problem? Well, my two parts are congruent. And I don't know how much the whole measurement is, maybe a little less than 90, I can't be sure. So this is part equals part. And just to make my life a little easier so I can work with some positives, I'm going to put the 7x minus 2 on the left and the 6x plus 4 on the right. It doesn't matter though, you can do it either way. I'm going to subtract 6x over to get a positive x. Minus 2 equals 4. Add your 2 over to get 6. Now it says to find the measure of angle EBC. Well, that's the whole thing. But I don't have a label for the whole. So instead what I need to do is substitute it back into the two parts and add them together. Now, the two parts should end up being the same because they get bisected, they're congruent unless you did something wrong. So this is also a nice way to double check your problem. Plug it into both, they should be the same. So I'm going to plug this into 6x plus 4. So 6 times 6 plus 4 is going to give us 36, plus 4 is 40. So this one is 40 degrees. And then plug it into the next one. 7 times 6 minus 2, that's 42 minus 2, also 40. So that tells us, yes, we did this correctly. and then just add up your parts. So the measure of angle EBC is going to be 40 plus 40, which gives us a total of 80 degrees. Okay. That's it for angles. Let me know if you guys have any questions.